Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is John Hoppe, and this is the Wrestling Fans Insight Sunday Takedown, joined by my co-host William and Carlos. How you doing, Carlos?
Good guys, how are you?
Doing awesome, William. Just the normal bleh.
Eat it.
Wow,
That's what
you're
she said.
telling. Yeah, until he's sitting here telling me Carlos is going to give me all the shit today. So,
Well, you guys got that out of the way for the pre-show, so yeah.
well, fine then. Welcome to the show, everyone. Is
Hey, what happens in the pre-show stays in the pre-show. What the fuck?
That's right. This week we're just gonna kind of still keep on track with the road to WrestleMania, but a couple other things we want to hit it off with today. William, what did you think of this week's wrestling programming?
Um, mm, honestly, I think WWE just they haven't hit that gear yet that they should be hitting. But even though it was only a 2-show week for AEW actually put on a pretty good couple of shows in one night.
Yeah, that was that was the unfortunate thing, thanks to March Madness.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention, and so when I went to watch the recordings, it played Rampage first. I was like, son of a bitch.
Well, yeah, I mean, just watching Dynamite go right into Rampage's time,
Mhm.
that was the bummer part. But anyhow, Carlos, what was your thoughts?
About which part? I'm sorry.
The weekly programming.
I thought it was I thought AEW was good. I missed having Collision. I felt like honestly, I'm not really happy with WWE. I thought Raw was very predictable. Besides besides DIY versus the Creeds, I just feel like they shit the bed. Honestly, like I feel like with SmackDown, they left a lot of time for this segment for once, and they totally I feel like they shit the bed with it. If I'm being honest.
For me, the hardest part I'm having right now is just that damn slow build with the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match.
And it
For
shouldn't be a
me,
slow build. It's like we should be,
yeah.
just
To me, for one, I think you're having the talent go into this way too late, and you're risking chances of injury for these guys. For one, I mean, you already do that enough with the live shows as is, but this slow build is, I think, taking away a lot of the good attraction, which really this should have been more of a traditional tag team match 2-on-2,
And the
Unfortunately.
thing for me, go ahead, or you, I'm sorry.
Well, sorry. No, go ahead, Carlos.
Well, the thing for me too is just like with this is like I don't want to see teams in there that they've already beat. Like that's the thing, they've already beat DIY. Like they should, if they were gonna put DIY in there, it should have been the Creeds versus them at Elimination Chamber, like having if the brutes go in against, like having the big strong boys going, it just all these teams that are going in are teams that they've already defeated. And so I have no interest. I would have liked to have seen, if they were going to do this, like have a couple of makeshift teams, but at the same time, if they would have done that, people would have been bitching too. But like from my own opinion, like having guys like a Bronson Reed and Ivar teaming up, because they want to be at WrestleMania, having Ricochet go find a partner because he wants a chance to stay, like having it be more geared towards guys really wanting to be on the show and get a spot at WrestleMania, it would have been more exciting to me. It's just having teams that haven't really even been on TV, like Indus Sher, just, and then the Gallows and Anderson. Like if you're gonna have these guys, you should have been building them up instead of just throwing them into a makeshift match to get to where you want to go to. And that's just been the whole build in general. It's just I wish we knew all the matches going in already, and we were just getting programs that were making you excited for the matches.
Yeah, that's where I'd say slow builds are not a good thing, especially when this is your biggest event for the year.
Yeah.
You're drawing a lot of interest out of it. And the thing that really irritates me is much of the storyline with the Judgment Day and R-Truth. I think, in a way, you kind of took away a big moment right there for R-Truth to get his, redemption against the faction, and having all these different teams in the event. I still hope The Miz and R-Truth are the ones who pull those championships away. However, with all these teams, something tells me we're going to see something very unexpected. And I really hope WWE doesn't fuck this up, because we've known that they've blown chances like this for big builds, especially like last year when Cody still ended up losing to Roman. I think that was probably the most unpredictable thing for everybody who watched the 2-night event.
But it was the wrong thing to be unpredictable. Like this isn't what you should have like had. This was the
Yeah,
wrong. Yeah,
I
yeah.
clapped my hands that they did it, but I was also like, oh, the IWC was going to lose their shit, and sure enough, they did. I mean, everybody was gone.
And then
So
the thing is, everybody just cut through the bullshit too. Like they can't, like, oh, we planned this. No, you didn't. Like it was a happy accident after Vince changed the creative. Just like right now, this is a happy, like people getting upset about Cody. This is a happy accident of the fans like voicing their opinion. Don't sit there and try to place like we're stupid and like, oh, this was all planned all along. Bullshit.
yeah, total bullshit. I mean,
And that's the thing for me too. It's hard to get into it because to me, again, I'm on my own little mountain here. But again, if they would have just put the belts on Randy, having a good program with Randy and Cody, we could have got The Rock versus Roman. There's just so much. It would have been so much better instead of just trying to like put a round peg in a square hole kind of shit that they're doing now.
well, and I think this was Vince McMahon's way of throwing it in our faces too. It was kind of a, haha, fuck you all. Thought that was predictable.
Yeah, and then too, like, and then it's also this like they have this. But the thing with WWE, and this has always been my problem, is like they just take advantage of their fans, and they think and they know like, oh, if we feed it down your throat, you're gonna like it, and but it's like at the same time that it's not the way to be. Like pay off the stories correctly. If you start something, finish it. Don't just keep taking advantage of our fandom, and like they do that too much.
Yes, they do, and hopefully this year they'll make it right. So, but nonetheless, even though we got this really terrible slow build with the tag team match, I think everything else so far is looking good and in place. Like you've mentioned before, they really should have made the U.S. Championship a ladder match. That's where it really should have been placed, in my opinion.
Yep.
But nonetheless, we're just going to go ahead and move on. But first thing I really wanted to talk about today, even though it's non WWE related, um, we got some interesting contracts coming up here in TNA. Will, I know you don't have much to say on this, but me and Carlos, uh, we have the Motor City Machine Guns, sorry, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, whose contracts are about to be, if not finished right now, I believe. And very shortly here, Killer Kelly's also going to be coming up. With these three talents now going to be no longer under contract, where do you think these three end up?
Well, first of all, I want to just touch on the thing with TNA because I think what they're doing is smart. Like a lot of fans like, oh, I can't believe they're not going to sign these guys, blah 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 blah. And like you gotta go where the market's at. And for me, like there's a lot of wrestlers on the market, and I think they're smart enough to be signing these guys to contracts anymore and just be paying per appearance because they're a small company and they need to run thin. And if you can do it, and there's enough talent out there. I commend them for that. I think it's a smart business decision to let these guys go. Honestly, I kind of hope that we see them kind of stick with TNA as on a per appearance deal. But if not, I mean, to me, if Tony Khan was ever going to do Ring of Honor right, this is the time to do it. Putting the Motor City Machine Guns in Ring of Honor, having them help build the tag teams there, having their creative there. I mean, I want to see them in WWE too. I mean, selfish me, like either company they're in, I want to see them cook. I would be more interested in seeing them versus Edge and Christian than the Hardys at this point, if I'm being honest, because the Hardys are like broken Matt is literally broken Matt these days. But then to me, they both seem like AEW is the right thing, but I just feel like they need to just do better storytelling for both teams to succeed. But at the same time, go get that back from Tony Khan while you can. Why not?
I would love to see Killer Kelly end up more. I would like to either see her stick with TNA. I just think right now, if she was to go to WWE or NXT, we've already got similar gimmicks like hers going on right now.
I agree. She has a better chance of becoming the Knockouts champion because they usually, if you stick around there, eventually you're most likely going to be the women's champion too. You know.
Well, and sorry to interrupt, but we also have similar gimmicks of hers in AEW as well right now
Oh
too.
yeah.
So I think her best bet, if she can, stick it out with TNA right now, where I think she can, like you mentioned, I think she should be right there for the Knockouts Championship. as far as the Motor City Machine Guns, oh man, that's really tough because I've enjoyed watching them over the years, especially in the X division, and had some good matches there in Ring of Honor as well. I don't know if it's really hard to say this because I don't want to say they should probably look at maybe being more, backstage involvement because I think they have been to some point with TNA and
Mhm.
also with the Ring of Honor. I think right now maybe this is either time to send them to like just temporary contracts or have them be the backstage guys and help coach them up. I
Well, and
think
that's go ahead. Sorry.
I think their roles could be better fitted there in AEW right now because I think AEW needs a little bit of help on that side.
But it depends if Tony Khan's willing to let the help be given. That's the problem.
Right.
As you know, like I agree with you. Like so here's the thing I want people to remember too. Like TNA Impact did them right. They gave Chris Sabin a nice run with the X Division title. He's already a former world champion. They gave Alex Shelley the run that Kofi Kingston should have had. They've done nothing but treat these guys right. And I don't, and if they move on from there, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. They've done everything they can with these guys. But again, like I agree with John. That's why I said either for me it's ROH or even NXT. Like these guys still have something to give, but I would use them like I would use them to help getting talent over. I would use them to help help these guys learn, and I would exactly use them in a backstage role. That's why for me, like that's why I say it's now or never. I feel for Ring of Honor, I would put them there in a heartbeat, or even NXT. Like they know how to wrestle the kind of style Shawn Michaels likes. They'd be an asset in either one of those companies. Then you could give them a little run on the main roster. But I think they would be assets anywhere they want to go. But I also don't blame TNA for not signing them because it's time to let other people sign. If they were going to sign somebody, I'd rather see them sign the Grizzled Young Veterans to a contract.
Right on. Yeah. And I think also with those two, these guys can also help tag team wrestling as well. So
Absolutely.
I think they have definitely got the tools needed to help these tag team divisions out and get them back on track. I think AEW definitely has a better uh, tag team. I guess you can say tag team logic. I think WWE still needs to work a little bit on theirs. So they're going to be valuable no matter where they
And I,
go.
and I
So,
guarantee you, Tony Khan could sign because he could sign both of those guys for the price of Matt Hardy by himself. And again, it's Tony Khan should have pulled the gun on the Hardys when they first came in, and now I feel like it's been lost. But to me, like I would, if I was him, the money you're paying Matt Hardy, let his contract expire and use that to sign those guys because you'll get more out of them than you are the Hardy Boys.
oh, most definitely. Well, and while we go into AEW's programming this week, I was a little bummed finding out there was really going to be no Collision this week due to March Madness. However, though, I thought Dynamite had a really good programming with 2 championship matches. If you haven't watched it, sorry, we're going to spoil it. We had Okada defeat Eddie Kingston for the AEW Continental Classic, and the I Quit match for the TNT Championship. Adam Copeland ends up taking the championship from Christian Cage, which I thought that was actually a pretty good match, but you're kind of laughing. So
It's hard to get past the the like 20 kicks into the fucking nuts.
well, don't forget,
Spike.
it was they called it Spike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, because didn't Abyss have a name for it? I can't remember. Was it
It
Jane?
wasn't a girl's name or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, now I forgot. I had it on top of my head. I thought it was Jane, but I could be wrong.
I thought it was Jen.
Oh,
No.
Janice.
Janice. Yeah, Janice.
That's
Yeah,
what it was.
Janice.
Janice.
See, you guys combined, you guys got it. Yeah.
But overall, you said you like Collision and Rampage.
Honestly, I
Dynamite
think
and Rampage.
Dynamite Rampage.
I think even though we didn't have Collision, something that we talked about before is sometimes less is more. And I think they had an excellent week. I think they had their focus on point. And Honestly, I think they outdid WWE. I think WWE absolutely fucking dropped the soap.
Well, yeah, again, slow builds, they kill you sometimes.
They're in the wrong damn gear at this point.
Yeah. I mean, if it was still like your traditional 4 pay-per-views, that would have been fine. But yeah, you got an event coming up here in less than 2 weeks, and you're still kind of behind the 8 ball there. So, Carlos, what was your thoughts on Dynamite and Rampage this week?
I thought it was good. I mean, I think it was a smart decision and kind of test the waters. Maybe they want to go to a 3-hour program. But like I'm like you though. Like with the talent they have, I wish we'd have got Collision. Even if they would have just taped it and they could have shown it at 3:00 in the afternoon on Saturday. Like I know there's NCAA basketball, but I feel like just like people told us when we start this podcast thing, be consistent. And I think if you're trying to build your brand, be consistent. Even if you got to like negotiate an area at a different time, DVR. I thought the matches were good. I just wish for Rampage they would have booked some stronger matches instead of having like kind of 2 squash matches in there. But I thought it was smart to only have the 4 matches. I think because you have Swerve in the Butcher as a kind of impromptu match. I thought it was great. I love Okada as a heel. It's working for me. His little arrogant smile. I love the whole thing with the Bucks being backstage. Again, for me, like I feel like Tony Khan needs to just look at guys like Adam Copeland and Christian because they know how to do good storytelling. I thought that was done really well. And again, for me, the women stole the show. I think I've already said this before, but I'm going to say it again. They should have do a women's hardcore match every week. Maybe have tag team titles for the women where they can only be defended in their hardcore rules, because every time they do this match, it gets over. The crowd is up. The crowd is literally on their feet standing watching this. Every match they've done like this has not missed. It's really good. The only thing I didn't really like is I feel like the Don Callis family should be protected more, and just having them be a sacrifice for a makeshift tag team of Orange Cassidy and Trent. I get that Tony Khan likes both of those guys. I love them too, but there should be another tag team in there instead of those guys. For me, and then again, not having the BCC in that tournament too is a big miss for me. It's just there's just overall booking decisions that need to be done better with AEW, but overall it was a very entertaining show. It was a great 3 hours of wrestling.
So one thing I do want to touch, that little segment with Jericho and Hook after their post match. You think they're going to end up being the wild card in the tag team tournament here?
Is there still a wild card team in it?
Yes, I believe there's still one wild card team left.
There is. And I'm pretty sure you're correct on that.
Yeah, you're right. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I could bring to logic with Jericho asking or bringing up a proposition to Hook after they left the backstage area. So, I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense to me right now. So I'm a little scared if they go that direction and put the championships on them. I hope not, but you never know with what Tony Khan will have planned up his sleeve.
I mean, it should be Private Party or winning the tag team titles. They're hot right now. The crowd likes them. Let them go with it and see what they can do.
Yeah, I mean that's the key thing right there. Use them when they're hot.
Yes, and they've done it. And he's so many times he does it, and it's like he's dropped the ball fucking more times than fucking I don't know who's a bad receiver in the NFL, But it's like he's just dropped the ball so many times because he doesn't pull the trigger when it's hot, and it's like because he wants to go by what's in his book, and that's where it's like you got to go with what's hot, man.
Oh Lord, I love you, Carlos. So, but anyways, why don't we go ahead and get right into WrestleMania? Not a whole lot's really changed so far. I mean, we still got our typical matches. Where did I put the damn thing?
You wrote it on your freaking paper.
Oh, there it is.
Come on, man.
Did you write it on the napkin for your sandwich?
No, he wrote it on his top 5 thing.
Hey, don't knock napkins. Got to use every resource I can here. I'm a redneck. Anyways.
Say that with pride.
I did. I know we kind of shit on it, but I want to kind of touch a little more on this WWE Tag Team Championship 6-pack. So far, we got chill out. Don't make me mute your shit. But we got the Judgment Day defending against the New Day, DIY, the Awesome Truth, and still 2 teams to be determined. And I believe those 2 come off a SmackDown
Correct.
Yeah. So, Carlos, I know you definitely like to have the booking, and you're about 85-90% right there most of the time. If you were to pick the last two teams, who do you think creative is going to be putting in that spot?
Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And then I think it's going to be but then it's going to be the Pete Dunne and
New Catch Republic.
New Catch Republic, yeah. But
Worst
and again,
section name
they've
ever.
already lost, and so again, like, why are you doing this to a team that's already lost? It's just like, yeah, those are going to be the two teams, and because I think both the Street Profits and then I think Legado, they're going to both be in multi-man matches at WrestleMania. If I was booking it,
Is it between those two?
yeah. So the first one it's the Street Profits versus Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, and the second match is New Catch Republic versus Legado.
Yeah, I think definitely AOP is going to cost Street Profits on that
And
one.
then you get the payoff for that. You get the 3-on-3 match at WrestleMania,
which isn't on the card yet. So
Correct.
that's actually a good prediction there. Yeah, I definitely see New Catch Republic being in there.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to take a guess, William, are you going with the same teams being in there?
Yeah, I don't really see it going any other way. There's not any other feasible teams at this point.
Yeah, I'm right there. So, so far 10 matches are on the WrestleMania card. Obviously, 2-night event. Usually ends up being what, 3-4 hour night for.
They said they're going to do 7. They wanted, so there'll be 4. There will be 4 more matches announced because they said there'll be 7 and 7.
So obviously we're going to have probably that 6-man tag like you mentioned earlier. It'll be the Final Testament taking on the I guess you
Pride.
can say the hurt business.
No, they're called the Pride.
They're called the Pride now.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I guess I missed that part.
Of course, you hear the word pride and you cringe. So,
but no, I
just checking.
Don't even start that shit.
Come on, let's get Almost versus Tozawa 25.
Yeah, there we go.
Good God. I swear that poor guy. They use him for any shit finding they can. So so why don't we talk about maybe the other possibility of having 3 more matches? Any idea who you would think would be in those matches, Carlos?
So I think you're going to see Legado, and Legado. The match I already said, the Final Testament versus the Pride. You're going to see Legado and Legado del Fantasma and Dominic versus the LWO. I honestly, if I was booking it, I would like to see them do Legado and what's their I'm having a brain fart. What's Dominic's faction's name?
Judgment Day.
Yeah, do Legado. They do Judgment Day. So put in Big Head, Pez Dispenser, and Dominic versus LWO and Andrade, or even LWO and Dragon Lee. That's what I want. I want to see them get as many guys as there. Again, give me get all these guys on the card. They deserve it. And then I think you're going to see a 6-man tag with Bianca, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus the rest of Damage Control. The one match that's left after that, I can see maybe doing a rematch of John Cena versus Solo. I think Solo deserves to be on the show. Personally, I would like to just see it be the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, but I know they're not going to do that because they'll be probably on SmackDown. But put the women's Battle Royal on SmackDown, put the men's on WrestleMania. That's how I'd book it.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
But none of those matches excite me. I mean, I'm like, oh, I mean, to me, it should be Jade and Bianca going after the tag titles. Dominic, I feel like when he's your top heel in the company, he should have had a harder feud. He's not been used properly this whole year, in my opinion. besides the stuff in NXT, which was fabulous. I just wanted to see better matches for these guys. It just kind of, it feels like, oh, let's get all these. And again, I'm both ways, because I do want to see as many people get on the card as possible. But it just feels like these matches, if I can see these matches coming from a mile, they should have already been announced. We should add stronger builds going into the show.
You know, if you keep playing with that, you're going to go blind.
Whoa, whoa.
You weren't
It's not Meat Monday yet, John. What the hell?
That's why we're not on camera, dude. So,
Oh, Lord.
yeah, we went from that one viewer down. Thanks a lot, Will.
So, yeah, okay, blame me. Yeah, sure. Anyways, I'm kind of with Carlos for the fact that there needs to be more exposure for more people. At the same time, I do want to see one women's match that's singularly focused, that isn't championship related. And I want to see it involve Tiffany Stratton.
And who would her opponent be?
Well, right now, there was a little bit going on between her and Naomi, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was a little bit between her and Naomi, her and Bianca.
Yeah,
but again, for me, they shouldn't have had Tiffany's they shouldn't have had her beat her on SmackDown. They should have saved it for WrestleMania. I agree. And then again, we should be getting a tag team match, Bianca and Jade versus Io, and just like I agree with I like where Will's going. I would like to see that one-on-one women's match on WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I think it looked like it was about to tease Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio too. The way this was looking on SmackDown, I keep thinking we're going to end up seeing
the retirement match.
The retirement match, like I mentioned.
But he just signed a new contract though, so I think so that's why I think too. I think that was originally the plan this year, but then when Ray signed on to go for more years, they changed. They pivoted, but at the same time, pivot in more of a faster mode. Don't leave it treading water for all this time.
Yeah. So I like you, Carlos. I think we will end up seeing something in an LWO versus a Judgment Day deal. For me, I would like to see the women's tag team championship on the line.
I do too. I don't want the sixth woman. I want the
yeah. I think the Kabuki Warriors should take on the team of Jade and Bianca, or 100%. Naomi and Bianca.
And no, I like the idea of Jade and Bianca. Then I like the idea of Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think that would be a killer couple of women's matches out of the card, because I do think we need to focus the women a little more. One, because I think Damage Control is definitely having one hell of a good storyline here, especially with Bayley, Bianca, Naomi. Jade Cargill obviously coming on, making her first official contractual obligation, I guess you can say, now that she's signed to SmackDown. So, but I don't think it's the first time she's appeared on SmackDown.
No, yeah.
I'm like, what? I think we need to rethink that before the next time you say something like that. Yeah, I would definitely like to see a couple women's matches in there. As far as my fourth match, I don't know. I mean, there really hasn't been anything real focused lately.
I mean, Candice and Indy. I mean, that's kind of what they've got on TV time, but that match doesn't really excite me because again, they lost.
Well, and I think Candice LeRae, and this isn't on Candice LeRae for anybody out there. I think that little angle they did with Maxine Dupree's brother, I think kind of went a little sour for everyone involved. And I don't blame any of the women in that. I somehow think creative just kind of had a quick light bulb moment, and I don't think they thought it very well. I think it backfired, and it kind of hurt the women for a little bit. So I just don't think there's a spot there yet for Candice and Indy.
No, I think it'd be great if they did the meat match, like go do the meat match that AEW didn't give us, like Bronson Reed's been advertising, why not? Go for it.
Get Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker.
Almost in there.
No. I was just gonna say almost for Heather's, heart attack.
Yeah, you could bring, but you could bring Dijak up for that. There's a lot of different people you could put in that match.
See, I could see them maybe pushing Liv's comeback story a little bit more.
I wouldn't mind Liv versus Nia Jax either. I think they both is. I wouldn't mind, but I agree with you guys. The thing that I love about NXT right now, just is I love the fact that like the women's matches are being more normalized. And what I mean by that is it doesn't feel like a big deal when the women open the show. It doesn't feel off when you see 2 women's matches in a row. It doesn't feel off when you see the women main event. It doesn't feel off when you have 4 women's matches on the show. It's like the women have been normalized on there. And I could see that eventually being where you see half matches or men's, half matches or women. And I think that's what I think the natural evolution for WrestleMania is just getting the more, like you're saying, more of those single women's matches on there and getting more spots for the women instead of just your obligatory one match kind of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
they deserve it.
And I don't mean to knock on Tony Khan, but yeah, I mean, don't make them feel obligatory. Make them feel like they're superstars.
They're the norm, and that's something that NXT, again, is a beautiful job they've done. Is it doesn't feel, it's been normalized. It doesn't feel weird when you see the 2 women's matches in a row or opening or closing the show, and that's bring that to the main roster now too.
Definitely.
More. And they did that too. They've done Raw where there's been 2 women matches in a row too. It's not as often as NXT, but again, like reward these women for what they're doing. And then again, they have more women on the roster, but at the same time, oh well.
Right.
Oh, well.
Actually, now come to think of it, now I know what I would like to see back on WrestleMania.
A bra and panties match.
No.
Oh God.
No. As a fan from that era, that was actually one of my most hated moments. There was anything that involved a bra and panties
match. It was so pointless.
It was terrible.
It was demoralizing for the women. Like, they worked hard to get there. So,
yeah. For me, I was really never a fan of that because it's like, that's not wrestling. Sorry, Vince.
And with everything coming out now with Vince, like I will never be able to watch. I won't be able to watch another women's match post the Evolution ever again because
I mean it's
been ruined for me.
Well, yeah, I mean it's just, I believe that definitely was a Vince McMahon idea, and I just did not enjoy it. Sorry, I mean.
And then again, was he punishing the girls who didn't want to get hook up with them? just so many bad thoughts go in my head now when I see that stuff. Now I'm like, yeah, I can't enjoy this anymore.
Well, I don't know if you've read the latest, but apparently Ronda Rousey has some things coming.
Yeah, she talked about the casting couch and all that shit. Like, oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, so this might be something you really. I know there's not a lot of Ronda Rousey fans out there, but this might shed some light on why she was very sour, not only on the second run, but toward the end of her first run too. So there's probably going to be some interesting things there, and I'm definitely going to be keeping up on that for sure. But no, to get to my point, there was one thing I do want to see come back to the WrestleMania, not on SmackDown, the eve of the 2-night event. This needs to be back on WrestleMania, and I believe it should be that. And on Jesus,
the Giant Battle Royal. That's what I said.
Yeah, the Andre the Giant Battle Royal should be back on the card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it should have never came off the card.
Or at least, yeah, like on the card, or at least on the pre-show, like do the women's on the pre-show and bring back a pre-show match too. We don't need to see you fucking
jaw
recap everything that we've already fucking watched fucking over and over. It's like, oh my God, you like beat me to the head with it. Fuck, we get it. And that's the thing where, again, like if you're talking about the things, like the good things, where with AEW, we're like, and that's the thing where WWE needs to do more. Just reward your viewers that are loyal. Like, understand that we've already seen all the shit and we don't need it recapped again. Like, quit beating it in our heads.
Not to bring back a point from Ted the Hillbilly Hill, but hey, if you don't watch programming, just watch the pre-show of every PLE.
Exactly. Fuck.
You're caught up right there.
Oh my God, it's like, yes.
Yeah, I go the opposite direction. I don't bother with those pre-shows anymore.
Well, no, I do just because I don't want to miss a match. But when it's nothing but, and I will say that's one thing I do like about AEW is in their 0 hour they do have wrestling matches, but yeah, I do think they could only just knock it down to like maybe 2 or 3 matches at most. Don't need to fit 4.
See, and what I like about AEW's PLEs versus WWE,
one match after the other, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, AEW doesn't fuck around. They get straight in.
I mean, they reward the viewer. Like they know that, okay, you've been watching the show. You bought this. We're gonna give you match after match. Quit filling me on shit that I already watched. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
But at the same time, like if you want people to watch the pre-show, put a match in there so they want to watch it. Like, I mean, that's common sense shit too. Like, it's like, come on, guys.
You got an hour. You can put 2 to 3, maybe even 4 matches in that.
Yeah, give those guys a WrestleMania. Like that's where that's where you give those guys a moment. Like put the WrestleMania, put the Andre Giant Battle Royal. Like I think Sean Ross Sapp calls it the Sherry Sensational Invitational. I think that's a beautiful name instead of Moolah. Like put that for Sherry. Or the China one too. Like, but give them both. Put them both. Well, you got 2 nights. Put one on each night. Fuck.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So, with that being said, I know we're going to keep talking about the road to WrestleMania, continuing on a little bit and throughout our spaces on X Space next week. Just kind of keep tuned to me and Carlos on our account. Well, mainly Carlos because Carlos hosts those.
It'll most likely this week it'll be Tuesday and Thursday because I'm off on Thursday, and so whenever I am, I like to shout out. I like to give some rub at TNA, so that'll be like an AEW TNA show, and then I'm gonna do Tuesday, I think, because I want to do the road to WrestleMania, but also the road to Stand and Deliver as well.
All right, thanks, Carlos.
Yeah. All right.
So no, you're good. I just had a brain fart.
Yeah.
That's my typical Sunday deal.
You wonder why I'm over here laughing a lot.
Well, shut up. I can always just leave you the hosting. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Trying to duck out again.
So with that being said, as we will continue on with the road to WrestleMania throughout the week and the following week, just before the event, why don't we get into our top 5 moments for the week?
Can I ask you guys really quick? Did you guys like the Cody Rhodes Roman Reigns promo?
This week, not really.
No.
It was redundant.
Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much knew Solo and Jimmy were going to be there for Roman, and then Jay and Seth were going to be there for Cody.
The only thing that was cool about it that I thought was the whole Shield moment.
Actually, the one thing I do want to mention, and courtesy of Jim the Fan over at Fan in the Van podcast, he mentioned this on his podcast, that he was going to be interested in hearing my take on Cody going off on the Rocket on Raw. And I actually thought that was a pretty good segment. I loved the fact that they let him get a little more raw with the language, saying the Rock had a little dick syndrome. And
it's a fine line to walk when you're a babyface. So.
And calling him an asshole. Well, yeah, but I mean, everybody knows you're not going to be all preachy here like us Utah boys.
Well, no, but
but
think about it from a little kid's perspective.
Right. No, I get it. I know it's on a fine line, but with your product already going to Netflix, I don't think it's gonna really. I don't think waiting to transition is gonna be that much of a problem now. So
it's only going to take me 4 hours to watch a 2-hour program.
So, but anyways,
like there's gonna be no commercial. I'm like, fuck, so I can't fast forward through this shit now. Fuck, it's gonna be like I'm like, boo.
For anybody who's listened to us from the get-go, we used to do a top 10, and we kind of went away from that for almost a few months now. But we're kind of coming back. But we're just going to do top 5 moments of the week now, and we're going to work on doing that with every show here. So, every Sunday show. So, but without any further ado, why don't we start with our number 5, and we'll start with you, William.
All right. So this is a little bit different. I'm throwing it out for Pat McAfee. During one of the matches, he was actually watching out for the wrestlers. And at one point when they're out by the announce table, he went out of his way to move the cords so they wouldn't trip. So
awesome.
I'm giving them that spot.
Oh, that's always good when we have someone paying attention for the wrestler's safety out there. So, kudos to Pat McAfee on that. Carlos, your number 5?
My number 5 is Legado. It was Ray versus
Santos
Escobar. Again, I like my Latinos. I thought it was a good match. I mean, again, And again, for me, like I felt this whole time Dominic was going to get involved. So again, for me, it's like getting to see that he's going to have a WrestleMania match. I just thought it was well done. Again, it was the highlight show of the wrestling action for SmackDown. Yeah, that was my number 5 for the week.
My number 5 went to the Becky Lynch and Nia Jax for their last women standing match. I thought they had a really great performance there. And then, to put the cherry on top with Rhea coming out to confront Becky after that hard fought match, I thought it told a really good story there, showing that Becky is willing to do what it takes to win any kind of match. And it's not going to be any different when she takes on Rhea Ripley there for WrestleMania.
And I'll just feed off of you just to cut line. That's actually my number 4. I thought the match was really good too. And I just wish the crowd would have been more into it from the very beginning, because I think that that with the program that's been going on, like the crowd should have been on their feet. The crowd was kind of for me. That was the other problem with Raw this week. The crowd was really not. It wasn't really bringing the energy. But no, it was a fantastic match. And again, it was the right booking, even though it was predictable. It was the right booking because Becky needed to get her receipt for not beating her earlier in the year. So I love that match. It was great.
Not to mention that brutal punch to the face a few years ago.
Right, exactly. But that started it all for Becky. Really, I mean, her bloody face.
It really did.
It did. Happy accident.
All right. So since we already know Carlos is number 4, Will, I'll go ahead and let you take the honor.
All right. My number 4 is going to be a huge welcome back to Sol Ruca returning to the ring.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Of course, Hulu cut that off.
Of course they did.
Yeah, they're kind of wieners about that.
Yeah, no, she returned this week.
But her finishing maneuver is fucking amazing. I mean, it's just it's innovative. It's again, I know every indie's gonna be stealing it, but they already have because they even mentioned the original person, but it's just then that's why I just say NXT. Like I would again, once they moved to CW, I would not mind them being half women's matches, half men's, like letting more of that talent go to the indie because their women's division is so freaking stacked, and it's a beautiful thing to see. The people, again, the women that are just the natural athletes that are becoming wrestlers, it's awesome. I love it.
Well, and I think even before the injuries, Sol Ruca, she performed really well in the ring for being a rookie. So
now she looks even more crisp.
She caught it quick, like Bianca and Tiffany. She just caught it right away.
Yeah, I think she's going to have a killer career as long as she stays healthy and injury free.
Yeah, she got to keep that knee brace on.
Yeah, that's always a downfall, but I think she can overcome it, if anything. So my number 4, I loved the match between Okada and Eddie Kingston, with Okada becoming the new AEW Continental Champion. I think it was nice to show that we aren't going to have like a same champion all year long, but I mean, there's still that chance that Eddie can get a rematch and regain the gold.
Eddie got that Kofi Kingston treatment. Oh, new toy, bye.
Well, yeah, but I mean, obviously with the Bucks and Okada in power, power corruption, I would love to see a rematch, and hopefully Eddie gets redemption, but who knows what they're going to do. I do
My
like
problem with that, they should have kept the belts together. Like that's the whole thing. They should have just kept the belts together.
Well, and I like the fact that with the Continental Championship, there's different rules, kind of like how the Ring of Honor Pure Championship works. So I think if Tony can keep interest in that championship and keep those rules pretty much, I guess you can say, what's the word I'm looking? Yeah, I mean, keep it special,
Yeah.
Keep the Continental Classic its own gimmick type championship, and
on the island of relevancy.
Yeah, if you hold it true to what you're going to make that championship, I think that's going to be a championship with some good prestige here down the road. So moving on to number 3, Carlos, what you got?
So for my number 3, I'm going to go with Adam Copeland and Christian. It was a good match, good storytelling. It was main event worthy, having it in front of the hometown crowd. Just everything that they did, like from the hockey outfits to the everything. It's just like just the little things they did. Again, just my only thing is I wish it would have been FTR going out there because again, it has not been hidden that they're really friends in real life. I just wish it was FTR going out to make the save instead of Matt Menard and Daniel Garcia. But other than that, it was just really well done. Just them handcuffing them to the ring. It was just, I love the way it was done. And again, I'm glad to see Adam Copeland. It's a shame that he hasn't been the ratings boost, but I love seeing him getting to see him finish out his career the way he wants to. I'm all for it. I loved it.
Yeah, that's going to be in one of my upper parts. But William,
Oh yeah, my number 3 is Hook's defeat over Jericho. Just another case of Jericho showing how willing he is.
yeah, willing to put the younger talent over.
Absolutely.
I would have loved to have seen it if it was more of a red rum finisher, to be honest, because sometimes I really hate those quick type pinfalls.
The roll-ups.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little necessary if they've had to pull out all the hooks and nobody's finishing each other. That's one thing, but yeah, I think that should have been definitely a red rum finisher.
I agree with the actual finish like that not being so great, but the rest of the content of that match was amazing. So,
do you have any thoughts on that, Carlos?
I mean, again, I don't want to. I just wish that Hook was. Again, I think they're lucky that Hook's. They're lucky Hook's there that they could pivot to him. Is when Sammy had to get suspended and stuff like that. I guess I would hold off till Sammy was able to get back. I just want Hook to be better booked because I think that he's the feature star for them. I just wish it was better booked all around. But again, I'm okay with the pivot as well. It is what it is.
Yeah, my number 3 goes to the Damage Control Domination. Again, I think they're telling a really great story showing how 4 women who are really great skilled athletes can try to take on the entire women's division, mainly in SmackDown at the moment, but the Kabuki Warriors with the tag team championships, EO with the women's women's championship. I think we're getting good stories with uniting Bailey with Naomi again, Bianca, and then possibly Jade Cargill.
And EO too. EO's a savage, like beating up Bailey before her match, and just heading out like no big deal, like la 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 la. Like she's a savage, man. She hits like she hits like she's like that hit like you just like one of those things. I think that we don't realize how much we should appreciate her. She's amazing. She's so good.
Well, and I think she was underutilized because Vince McMahon,
1,000%.
didn't see a damn thing in her, and it's like, dude, that's like your Bryan Danielson right there of the women's division. You're missing out on a really great star.
Yeah.
I mean,
all of them are great stars, and so them coming together as a again, I love the faction too. It makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, I think Damage Control has done a lot of good, especially this storyline, especially with Bailey being kicked out of the group. There's so much to tell right there, and I think they're going to put on a great performance at the PLE here on April 6th and 7th.
And I think the thing that shows about them too is the strength of it. I think the fact that like to go off what you said, like the fact that they feel they need to put on, so the fact that they need, because I think before like the old formula would have been, oh, someone's back, go put them on Raw. The fact that they feel the need to put all these strong women like a Naomi, like a Tiffany, like a Jade on SmackDown just speaks to the fact that they have plans for these women and the fact that they need women to fight. Like it just shows how much they bring to the women's division in general and how strong that women's division is on SmackDown right now.
We're going to move on to number 2, and I'll give mine right away. I thought Cody Rhodes going off on the Rock on the opening promo of Monday Night Raw was one of the best, kind of like we were going back to the Attitude Era in some way. I felt that I know a lot of people will criticize Cody's promo skills. I think despite his, I guess you can say, political figure way in the press conferences, I think he does a really good job with doing heartfelt promos that will hit the fans, your average fan, in the good spots there. That's not. You're taking that the wrong way. You're taking that the totally wrong way.
It's all about hitting that good spot.
Okay, I guess you can say Cody trying to relate himself to the average Joe like his father did. So, but William, you're number 2. You suck.
My number 2 is Becky Lynch, beating Nia Jax, and I thought it was extremely appropriate for it to be a last woman standing match.
And Carlos?
My number 2 is DIY versus the Creed Brothers. That was an amazing tag team match. I'm a fan of tag team wrestling. There's no reason why there's again the fact that the Creeds are so young, but they can help elevate DIY too. I mean, I think, and again, I think DIY is over as a tag team too. So kudos for Triple H for not giving up on them. And again, for me, I would have liked to see both these teams in the tournament match. If I'm being honest, I think they both deserve a WrestleMania spot. But as a fan too, again, I'm just happy to see DIY getting that WrestleMania moment. Again, it just makes you trust that eventually all these guys will get a WrestleMania moment if they're just patient. Again, maybe everybody doesn't get on the card. Maybe everyone doesn't get on the card every year, but they are going to get to have those moments. It was just really well done. It was kudos to both teams. It was an amazing match.
All right. And going into our number 1, William, let's go with you.
My number 1 had to be Okada becoming the new champion. I'm sorry, but if you haven't watched Okada, you need to. He's absolutely gold. Carlos elaborated on it earlier. He plays an extremely cocky player in the game. He's got that level of performance.
Well, and for those of you who haven't followed New Japan, I really strongly urge you to go back and watch a lot of Okada's work in New Japan Pro Wrestling. The guy was pretty much the New Japan's version of The Rock, and he did his role well. He cut great promos, but he also has very great in-ring skills. So
go ahead.
He's definitely going to be a big value.
He is as advertised. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was definitely well worth the money that Tony Khan spent.
If I was them too, like if CJ Perry was sticking around, I would put her with him too and give him the hot girl manager too, just to make fans hate him even more, because he is that cocky heel man. He's so fucking good. Oh my god, he's so good.
So did CJ Perry get released?
No, but her and Miro are getting divorced.
And
so
yeah.
So I just like I said, if she's still, I mean, if she's under contract, which I think she is, I would put her with him in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah. Have her line
having them pull up, be the mouthpiece, have them pull up in the car together. Just give it another reason, the fans another reason to hate him. Like you get her too. Like we hate you, bastard.
Carlos, you're number 1.
Again, shouting out to the women's. My number 1 was the main event. Was the main event of Rampage. Willow and Chris Allen versus Sky Blue and Julia Hart. When there's a hardcore, they killed it. They did it all. They brought it, taking the thumbtacks. That was my number 1 match. It was kudos to those women. Again, for women to go out there and do that kind of style matches, I mean, that just shows their love of the business and that they're willing to do whatever it is to get over, right?
And big shout out to Chris Statlander with those tacks in her mouth.
Oh my god, yeah. It was just everything about that match and the table spots. Just really well done. Stokely Hathaway on commentary. It's just, you cannot beat that.
There's always something with Stokely that just
dude.
He
deserves to be on TV more. He's just so fucking funny.
Yeah, I think WWE dropped the ball when.
Oh hell yeah, they dropped the ball.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Tony Khan dropped the ball too. He had him in Ring of Honor as the general. It's like, come on, dude. Like this guy deserves to be on TV every fucking like. They've all dropped the ball. This guy, he should be managing him. He should have his own version of the Heenan family on. He should be on there every week because he's so fucking good.
Indeed, my number 1 definitely went to Christian Cage and Adam Copeland for the TNT Championship. I think Christian's done a really great job reviving the prestige of that championship. And, having Adam Copeland win it again for the second time, I thought it was a really awesome moment with everybody involved, including Killswitch, Nick Wayne, Daniel Garcia, Daddy Magic. I mean, it was just really great overall. I mean, who ever expected him to handcuff, kill switch, Nick Wayne,
Oh,
and
dude. Oh,
Christian
so smart.
Cage, and them chasing off Shane away, which was awesome. And then Adam Copeland doing the 20 kick in the nuts, and then finally taking his version of Janice and Spike and Christian. It was just like give kudos for Christian taking nut shots and not quitting, and then until he got to that final moment. And it was great. And I love the fact that they were overlapping that right into the start of Rampage. So, yeah, I thought Dynamite had a really great showing this week, and it's definitely been better than in the last few weeks.
They're coming back again. They're coming back strong this week already. I mean, the matches that have been announced is like, yes, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, keep it going. Keep that momentum going. Uh, did you guys have any final thoughts for this week before we get into our shout outs?
Not I.
Okay, Carlos.
No, I'm good, man. Again, just it's a fun time to be a wrestling fan. And then if you guys can catch it today, just really quick, I want to shout out Ethan Page he's gonna have his I forget the name of his federation, but I think it's on right now, but he's having his Alpha One Wrestling is gonna be on, that's what it's called, will be on YouTube today. Also, if you want to catch it, West Coast Pro is putting on a killer show. I was watching that a little bit this morning. That's on YouTube too, guys. Go out there and support your independent wrestling, please.
And while we're shouting out independent wrestling, I want to shout out my favorite around here now, Devotion Wrestling. Please make sure you go give them a follow. Also, go follow Manny Lemons if you can find him on X or even on Facebook. He is actually the owner of Devotion Wrestling. So definitely go check them out. They've recently had QT Marshall on there. They've also in the past have had Ethan Carter III on there. I mean, these guys do a really great job putting on a show. So, Will, I know you don't ever really do shout outs, so I'll skip you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Carlos, if you want to throw some shout outs to their favorite people out there?
Yeah, first I want to shout out to Conrad Thompson, Eric Bischoff. They read my question this week on 83 Weeks.
Yes, I heard that. That was awesome.
Yeah. Also a shout out to Paul Orndorff's family for quote tweeting my thing for wrestling. And again, when you get wrestlers involved in there, it just makes it fun. Again, I just want to give a shout out to everyone on X, all the different groups I'm part of, Pepsi Plungers, Recipes Bozo, the Stage Up Network, Flash's Heroes, Death Row Monetizing, again, Unlimited, just the Sin City Haven, just all you guys who support me on there, who support my content. Thank you guys. And it just again, a quick shout out just to Teddy Hill again. If you guys aren't, he's no longer going to be doing his podcast, so support his thing on YouTube Shorts. Yeah. And again, I want to just someone who's on there, but just a quick shout out to Chris Van Vliet. I really appreciate he's someone I aspire to be, just someone who does positive stuff, answering the fans' questions. And again, just even the Conrad Thompson, just thank you for making us fans feel important and feel involved.
And I also want to give some shout outs, one to one of our very dear friends and who's a member of our family, Marcy Partain. She is going to be leaving X, unfortunately. So those of you who are actually really close and follow her, please make sure you try to get a final goodbye in there. If you still want to communicate with her, just get in touch with her real quick before she ends it. So also want to give shout out to our two teammates that weren't here with us. Bryan had some previous engagements. Bryan the Hype Ballard, please make sure you go follow him at the Bryan Adkins on the X space, and also his YouTube channel, Tap Out Talk, at Tap Out Talk. Be sure to also go follow Heather at Bama Girl _4_ EVA, Bama Girl Forever, Roll Tide Bitches. She wasn't able to join us due to being under the weather. So, Heather, sending you our love and prayers there. Also want to shout out my podcast friends who always gives us a great shout out on their episodes. Jim over at Fan in the Van podcast, who hosts Steel Until Talk with Garrett, who does a solo Is This a Bad Take, but also does a partnership with Jalen there on Two Dude Sports News. Be sure to check out the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. Aaron over at Brutally Honest Sports, The Average Joe Sports Talk, Nate's Daily Wager Wire. Also, go check out Visit Vegas Places with Coyle, who talks about businesses in Las Vegas. If you ever decide to go visit Vegas for a vacation or whatnot, definitely check his podcast out. Listen to some of those businesses that come on his show. Also, go join our friends Chris and Deb at Today We Laugh and Learn, who do a weekly episode. And I guarantee you're going to learn something and you're definitely going to laugh. Just ask Carlos. He was on there not too long ago. So, and we also had our friend BC Hunter, who was a guest on there not too long ago. Big shout out to BC Hunter, who does a YouTube channel on wrestling with the 80s. If you liked wrestling back in the 80s and can't get enough of it, be sure to go check out his YouTube channel. As Carlos mentioned, Ted Takes on Wrestling. He formerly known as the Hill Truth Podcast. He's no longer going to be doing the audio stuff, but mainly the YouTube. Go check him out. He puts out some really great videos. And also want to shout out the Sage Up Network, as Carlos mentioned. Without them, we probably would be a little lost out here, but we're gaining some ground. We've hit number 2 in rankings for the month of, I think it was February, for the Good Pods app, which we've been gaining a lot of ground on. We've been hitting some new rankings, and thank you to each and every one of you who take the time to listen, retweet our stuff. Without you doing that, we would never achieved anything that high. Before we go, let's go ahead and share our X handles. For me, you can follow me at wfincitepod for the wrestling fan stuff. If you're actually into 10-pin bowling, I'm actually going to try to be getting back into that a little more. You can follow me at Roller Dude, dude spelled DEWD. That'll be my personal account and be more in depth with my bowling stuff and hopefully my pro shop showings. William?
At William Hoppe 8.
And Carlos?
At C to the LOS 77, at Conquer the No, and also if you're on Instagram, Rainbow Goodness _.
And along with that Instagram, I'm also on Instagram as well. You can follow me there, the Fans of Pro Wrestling. We're also on Twitch, the Fans of Pro Wrestling, YouTube at Wrestling Fans Insight. And we're also on Facebook. We definitely need to do a better job working on there. But you can find us there at the Fans of Pro Wrestling. But also be sure to check out our 2 websites, WrestlingFansInsight.com and thefansofprowrestling.com. Without any further ado, we will be back again on X Space. Carlos will be hosting Tuesday night and Thursday night there. Be sure to check out his post as he gets those shows set up. And any final word for you guys?
No.
All right, Carlos.
Yeet.
Yeet, bitches. So for Carlos Estrada, William, and John Hoppe here, thank you for tuning in this week. We will catch you again on Tuesday and Thursday, and probably be just doing a special for next Sunday. So take care, everybody. And remember, who's better than you? Nobody.